What if Satan is just God's alt account? I feel sympathy for Satan. He's just another thing God created, and is being punished for acting the way God made him, monsieur. I think the story went something like Lucifer was God's most perfect angel. But then he started questioning God's rule. So God gave him a place to rule over as an ironic punishment. I don't know if he was made that way. To be fair, God is a bit of a cunt. Like, I'm no Satanist, but cut the guy some slack. We can't even have democracy in the heavens. Dito Judas. If he hadn't betrayed Jesus, Jesus would never have been able to die for our sins. Our shower thoughts. God's plan. Or God is just Satan's alt account? Good guy Satan. Don't you know there ain't no devil, it's just God when he's drunk. Tom Waits. Right, so have you ever read Reaper's Creek by Unauthorized? Because this is basically the plot. Well, no, there is no plot, but this is one of the hacked-off happenings in the book. No, I haven't read that, but it does sound interesting. No, it's terrible. The book is fucking terrible. Don't give that piece of shit your money. Everyone is God's alt account, including you. If that's true, then why am I sad and suck at everything? Why does the other guy have a GF and I am still single? This comment basically sums up a belief. I forget which one. Somewhere in Asia. Something like God is an actor and everything isn't playing a role. The law of one. Well, apparently, nowhere in the Bible does it say that Satan rules in hell. Nut dog is God's alt account. The natural disasters he caused in the Old Testament are just him forgetting to switch accounts. Satan is the online account. God is the real-life person. You could say that he is. Look, let's assume for a moment that God exists, and is everything that people say he is. He created everything, including Lucifer, Jesus, all the angels, demons, etc. Okay, now God is supposed to be all-knowing. All-knowing. He knew everything before he started out. That means he knew everything Lucifer was going to do before he created Lucifer. He knew Lucifer was going to lead a rebellion before he even created Lucifer. And he still made Lucifer. This means God planned the whole rebellion in heaven out before he even created the actors. And that means the whole rebellion in heaven was all staged. A playlet, a kabuki dance. Lucifer and all the demons were assigned roles to play even before the moment of their creation. God knew what they would do, and created them all anyway. What they did was according to God's plan. So they were all obeying God even by rebelling. Which means Lucifer is still God's servant, always was. Lucifer is still doing what God wanted him to do, always has. All the demons, those who rebelled, all did so because God created them to do so. Again, God knew what they would do before creating them, monsieur, and created them anyway. And this makes God responsible for them all, both the angels and the demons. So God is responsible for both good and evil. Not just good, but evil as well, everything. All power and all knowledge also means all responsible. Either that, or you have to claim that God was ignorant when he created the angels, and that just sounds like blasphemy. So is Lucifer responsible for all evil when he's just doing what his boss made him to do? Since God created Lucifer, it's safe to assume that God wanted the job done. Otherwise, why create Lucifer? So Lucifer is just doing what his creator wanted him to do. His creator is ultimately responsible, as is the creator of Attila the Hun, Pol Pot, Hitler, Nero, Judas. The ultimate responsibility goes to the guy who created all these characters, knowing exactly what they would do. He created these characters for a purpose, for a reason. Again, to say otherwise is to say God is ignorant, blasphemy. It's no wonder we're instructed to forgive everyone and everything. In the presence of an all-knowing God, none of us are really responsible for anything we do. Our Maker made us knowing exactly what we will do. We may have choices and free will, but an all-knowing God knows exactly what choices we will make, and will know them all before he even creates us. What part of all-knowing is not clear here? all, as in everything. So, all these people who say God is not responsible for evil are really worshipping half a god and calling him an ignorant bastard. Literally. Since they also say God has no father. Omniscience in space and omniscience in time are very different things, and it's unlikely God would know everything in time and all possibility. What's far more likely is his omnipotence causes him to state with absolute confidence certain events will take place because his orchestration is imperative. This, coupled with already existing omniscience of the present, makes him a very solid guarantor, rather than an all-knowing buzzkill. But that claims an all-knowing God is not actually all-knowing. See the problem there? Suddenly, an all-knowing God is chronologically ignorant. Not only does that violate the all part of all-knowing, it also claims that God was, at some point in time, ignorant. When you treat all in such an abstract, all-encompassing manner, you invite paradox and break your own argument. If God is all-knowing, then he cannot innovate, thus he cannot be all-knowing. If you prefer the alternative, can God create a stone so big he cannot lift it? So the answer to your abstract thinking is no. He is not all-knowing in every conceivable means of thinking. A lack of innovation is not a lack of knowledge. Perhaps you should look up the definition of innovate. Asterisk. To make changes. Do something in a new way. Asterisk. And the question, can God create a rock so big he cannot lift it, is not about knowledge, but about power. Knowledge and power are two different things. Knowledge is limited and bounded. There is only so much one can know because there is only so much to know. You simply cannot know more than the sum total of all there is to know. It's nonsensical to suggest there is more to know than all there is to know. Of course it's about power. I was providing an alternative more tangible and therefore easier to comprehend if you need it. Since you just repeated it and didn't comment on how paradoxical it is, I'm guessing you're not fond of thinking very much. Greater than it's nonsensical to suggest there is more to know than all there is to know. Of course there is. The more you know how little you actually know. When you only dip your toe into the water on the shores of knowledge, it's very hard to comprehend how vast an ocean lies before you. The ones who venture furthest and dive deepest are the ones who can really appreciate its vast stretches and infinite depths. Greater than knowledge is limited and bounded. That's the most ignorant thing I have ever read in my life. Then again, that's the problem with talking about the nature of an abstract God. You can't really affix any attribute or indication of his grace. What if they rephrase that comment? Can God create a secret so secretive that even he cannot know it? Quote, same idea but now about knowledge. Then I don't think Satan would exist because I am an atheist. I've never really got why there's all this hate for Set. He's just the Egyptian god of the underworld. And then they have the nerve to confuse him with Pan because the Templars worships Baphomet. People are the real devils. No, you really don't want to read that, really. Oh, because of the plot, or lack thereof, or the author. All of it? Look it up on Goodreads and read like 3 reviews, you'll understand. Yeah, you're right. Definitely not as interesting as I thought. I read that quickly, and I thought it said, what if Satan is just God's accountant? And to be honest, it didn't really change much. Just as evil. What if God and Satan are imaginary? Entirely possible. I just thought the idea was cool. Satan is God's finsta. Our shower thoughts. Everyone needs some way to vent, I guess. I think they got switched at some point in the Dark Ages. God listen to Satan. His Smurf account. What if God and Satan actually existed? Then we've all been played. Satan is God's alt account used for NSFW stuff. Damn it. Well, at least it took you a lot longer to figure it out than the last bunch. What if God was one of us? According to the Old Testament, it is. Theoretically, God should just be able to simply squash Satan and spare us all, but interestingly he doesn't. That's because he would be squashing himself. Lord, give us a sign, smiley face. God is everywhere, so God is in hell too. That'll explain a few things. What's the question? This should be on our shower thoughts. It's his alternate account when feeling horny on Tinder. Then I have nobody left to worship. That's literally one of the biggest, most major, main points of Christianity. Explain. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.